Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel or my Facebook page. I am making update number 2 for today. I don't always make 2 updates in one day, but it seems like the last few days that's kind of how it's been. A lot of interesting activity going on, so I just wanted to go over a few things right now. First of all, and this is my first time really seeing this map. I looked over it about 5 minutes ago for 30 seconds, but I haven't really studied it too much, so my reaction to everything will kind of be in real time as I'm feeling and thinking what it is that I'm feeling and thinking. So, my first thought is, wow, Alaska has a lot of activity going on. It's not a lot of activity. We've seen this kind of activity before, but then when I look at some of the numbers, let's check them. I was looking at some, so a 3 is not too high, obviously, but it's a little higher than a normal average daily earthquake that you would see like in an everyday thing. So, and then a 4.6, a 4.1, a 3.2. A lot of good activity there. And let's compare it to where it was the other day. So it was over here the other day, and there's a line, kind of like the same kind of trajectory line that we're seeing on this one, but it was over here the other day. Let me just move this down there. It kind of bugs me. And now it's kind of just moved over here to another potential fault maybe, or I'm not sure what's really going on. I haven't gotten a feeling about it. Obviously, it's probably a fault of some sort going on there. Let's see, let's check for other higher numbers. 2.2, that's pretty normal. 2.2, 2.0, 2.9, 3.4, 2.9, so a little bit of higher activity in this area, but still, these ones are pretty normal. 2.5, normal. 2.2, normal. 2.0, normal. 2.6, normal. 2.0, 2.2. So, there's a lot of good normal ones, but we definitely did see a few numbers that were a little higher than what I would consider to be normal daily activity that you would see every day. So yes, sometimes this region becomes very active with activity, yes, but not always as high. Sorry for all these notifications going on, but not always as high in magnitude as we're seeing today. So that means, like you've seen in all my other videos using the Dutch Sins method, that we would assume the energy will transfer from Alaska down into the west coast of the United States and over and across from there. So now let's get down into this area to the United States. We see Idaho has a few, not too many, aftershocks from their 6.5 that they had a few, about a month and a half ago. This is quiet. That's a little quiet than what it normally is. So sometimes I think that energy, when it's quiet, comes down into maybe the Utah area. And so it goes on. Well, okay, let's just it goes on like it becomes part of the pattern that I'm trying to see, if that makes sense at all. So I'm watching for everything, any little detail, and that helps make a bigger picture of everything. So here in California, 2.4, pretty normal. A 2.0, pretty normal. 2.1, pretty normal. So that is pretty normal activity. However, everything is still silent. It's been like this for a week. Not normal at all. Not normal at all. Usually California will see 12 to 20 little earthquakes all throughout California in one day, and that would be considered healthy and normal. And it's been silent, so silent for about a week. We saw that we had a few bigger ones out here, which I did forecast and predict that something like that would happen because of the silence. And a few other things, of course. I had to take in recognition that there was a lot of energy coming in, that we had a Nevada earthquake. So I'm just a lot of things, a lot of details that I will add to the bigger picture to try to make a forecast. So we have a couple, still not enough to ease my feelings. I did notice that a lot of activity has picked up in this area, and at first it was just in this area. This is the Nevada aftershock region from their 6.5, I believe, that they had last week, and this is healthy aftershock activity, definitely very active. It was traveling kind of across the other day. Here's one right here that you can see that was forming a trajectory line, but the other day it was definitely forming a trajectory line. Since then, it seems like activity has kind of fallen and has come down a little lower. So I'm just checking these earthquakes. Those are all pretty normal. Let's keep checking. Okay, where's all my dots? They just disappeared. Okay, so where was I? A 3.5. Okay, so this is a little abnormal, just a little bit higher than you would expect for daily activity. And it's extra abnormal because it's near Ridgecrest, which, as you know, had a very large earthquake last year in June of 2019, I believe. Don't quote me on that exactly, but that's when I believe it happened. And they've had a lot of aftershock activity since then, and a lot of people are still kind of worried about it, with good reason. I believe it's near the Garlock Fault, which seems to be like a new active fault. So I'm going to say that that's a little tiny bit suspicious. It's just one more detail that I would add to the complete pattern to make a forecast. 2.1 normal, 2.3 normal, 2.23 normal, 2.1 normal. So everything, these ones seem like they're pretty normal, so that would make me a little less suspicious. But the fact that energy seems to be flowing downwards from the seismic activity that was in Nevada and the aftershocks that are currently in Nevada still, and it seems to be kind of flowing downward, that makes me a little suspicious. I did put this area on my own watch, what I call a watch, to watch the area for potential moderate to large activity. I do feel it's a possibility, especially because now we have more energy from Alaska again pulling in to the area. We have dead silence here in California, up to Oregon and Washington as well. We do not see energy transferring across this way like it should, so that tells me that it's still kind of pulling in these hotspot areas. This would be a hotspot area within the surrounding area of the Nevada earthquake from last week. This would be a hotspot area, even inland from the couple I think it came up to a 5.9, a few 5.5s, a 4.9 that we had along the Juan de Fuca and San Andres Fault, kind of where they meet up together here along this line. We saw a few big ones just a few days ago, just about 3 days ago. And so I would consider this to be still a hot spot activity. Mother Nature has shown that it's relieving its stress point here, and I would not doubt that it went to inland. I'm not the only forecaster thinking this as well. And I would consider this area to be a hotspot area as well, because nature has shown that the seismic activity is pulling into these areas and that they're active. And when you do have a larger earthquake, it can inspire and induce other earthquakes from surrounding faults. And I want to just, because the energy is pulling downwards, like we see it is, I just want to kind of watch maybe this whole area. Some places that are prone to earthquakes would be Ridgecrest. It would be the Long Valley Caldera, which is, where am I? Let's see. Which is in this area somewhere. They would be prone to activity. That's Lake Tahoe. Wait, where am I? No, wait. Long Valley Caldera. Oh, I'm sorry. Long Valley Caldera is in this area. And there are a few faults that are around the surrounding area that are prone to activity as well. So in summary, I have a few hotspots that I would potentially put on and I did put on a potential watch list. I live in Utah. I still feel like something's gonna hit Utah soon. I just feel that we had our big one, not too big, but a 5.6 a couple months ago. And interesting fact about Utah is this area was all a former lake. So it is lake bed. It is not bedrock, it's lake bed. And when there is an earthquake in this area, it's magnified by pretty much two magnitudes. So it's pretty scary. If you did get one in the Salt Lake City area, it would be pretty devastating. Continuing on for the rest of the world, I usually have been just focused on the USA, but I think that there are a few interesting things going on, so let's talk about them. A 5.0 in Argentina, so not very interesting, not too much to say about it, but I mean, it could potentially bring energy down or up the plates to Mexico has been seeing some activity. I would not doubt if they had a moderate earthquake within the next month. Moderate, not too large. Still expecting something down here, who knows when. Okay, so this activity is again active. This was kind of the pattern that it was last week. We had a few really big earthquakes, not really big, moderate to large earthquakes in the area, and then it became silent for about 5 days, and now it looks like there is large activity there again. So let's check these out. A 5.2. We always check the depth in these areas because the depth is 180 kilometers. That's pretty deep. That could inspire some pretty good activity, but it's not terribly deep. Let's see what this one is. A 5.1 and the kilometer. Oh wow, 500 kilometers. That is very deep. So from that, you would actually expect that to go and behave and do some funny things. Using the Dutch Sense method, with his program that he has, he would be able to take you pretty much on the other side of the world. Sorry, this keeps popping up. My phone doesn't like me using this application, I guess. It just keeps popping up with weird things. Using that technology that Dutch Sense has, he would be able to tell you that it would pop up in different places on the other side of the globe. Because it's so deep, that would be the effect that it has. So that is an interesting thing to note about deep earthquakes. So from, I believe it was this one, 500 kilometers deep, very deep. That would definitely have an impact not only on the surrounding area, but to the other side of the globe as well. 5.1, let's see the depth. The depth here is 89 kilometers. That's not terribly deep. So, that is a few interesting ones. From this, I would for sure definitely say that something could pop up here. Probably a 5.3, at least within this area. I wouldn't doubt if other bigger earthquakes happened within this area of the 5.1 and higher magnitude. From that, New Zealand has been very active. They had a big one about a week ago. Since then, it hasn't really seen too much activity. I would not doubt if maybe a 5.0 happened in this area, in New Zealand. I don't know the history of New Zealand, about their earthquake history, or how big their earthquakes are. I would have to study that, but I wouldn't doubt if they saw a moderate to large significant one. Papua New Guinea. I'm expecting one here, and I calculate that using the Dutch Sense method by calculating the middle point between two significant earthquakes. There's an orange one here, a 5.0, and there's an orange one here, a 5.2, and you would calculate kind of the middle point between the two, which is definitely Papua New Guinea. You would follow plate boundaries to find where you're traveling between the points, and it would definitely be Papua New Guinea for possibly a 4.8 or higher earthquake. I don't expect anything too big, but significant, moderate to large would be probable. Okay, now I would not doubt if something popped up in this region. In any one of these regions, I can't narrow it down any more specifically, but this region has been quiet for a little too long, and especially with significant earthquakes nearby, I would assume something pops up there. Japan. Japan has kind of been on my watch list for the last couple of weeks, but they have seen a fair share of moderate to large earthquakes, suggesting the energy is releasing and traveling and dispersing itself in a healthy manner. So they're not red hot on my watch list. But then again, it's Japan, which is very active, a very seismically active region. So who knows? Here's a 4.4 in the Kuril Islands. Now, what do I feel about this area? I've been watching this area for a potential earthquake, and I kind of feel that the way, just taking the mechanics of how I've seen the activity travel, I kind of think it's going to travel up the plate boundary, through the cross point, maybe into this area. Who knows? Let's watch that. I usually don't comment on the rest of the world pretty much because I just mainly stick to the Ring of Fire in North America. However, I do want to talk about this area. Greece has had a lot of activity. I believe this is Greece. Yes, Greece has had a lot of activity lately, and I was watching them. I should have written it down because I was watching them for a potentially large earthquake within the region, and one popped up over here, which is a 5.8, and that's pretty big, and it's out in the middle of the ocean. I do wonder if there was a tsunami watch issued. Let's see how deep it was. Sometimes the more deep it is, the probability of a tsunami is more, but this is only 10 kilometers deep, so that's not deep at all. So I doubt there was a tsunami watch, but if we had a deep one out in this region, then these surrounding regions would definitely probably be put on a tsunami watch. Now, let's see. I'm just going to turn on the plate boundaries and kind of see where that might travel. I'm taking into consideration other big ones in the region as well, because like I said, you would find kind of the middle ground between the two to suggest where another one might pop up. I think those might be too far away from each other. This orange one and this orange one might be too far away from each other and have too many breaks and splits within the plate to really predict where it would go if there was. If the energy did travel and meet together. And how it does that is magma waves. It's complicated. If you want to learn more about that, I suggest you follow Dutchsinse on YouTube, and he explains it a lot better than I can. Basically, it's magma. One earthquake produces waves of magma under the plate that travel outward, and then if you have another location that has an earthquake that produces its waves, the waves kind of run into each other and create their own wave, which creates a rising peak, which hits the bottom side of the plate, creating another earthquake. I can't believe I just explained that as well as I did, actually. Okay, so from this earthquake, I kind of feel like Italy is gonna get something. And I kind of feel like it's gonna be pretty significant, actually. But wow, I don't know. I just seem so assured about that, and I shouldn't be. I should be more humble about my prediction with that, because I don't know. I'm probably gonna be wrong. Wow, I can't believe I was just like blurted that out. I'm probably gonna be wrong, but you know, who knows, so. We could see more activity within this area as well, higher activity. That pretty much concludes. I don't know, I think we kind of have gone over everything here, and that pretty much concludes this individual forecast, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day. Bye.